So I think for the if somebody comes in later, we'll let them come in later. But
Mhm.
for the interest of time, I do have a formal introduction this morning. And then I'm going to turn my microphone off and hand it over to Miss Etta. Um, so I'm going to do the informal part first. Is that I was lucky enough to meet Etta at a time where I had this feeling from having lost one of my mentors a little over a year ago, and then I met Etta about 9 months ago ish. That
Mhm.
my mentor Lee made sure that I was connected to Etta. I still don't know all of why,
Yeah.
but every time we're together, I feel Lee's presence also. So I
Oh,
would be remiss if
interesting.
I didn't say hi to her.
Yeah. Wow.
So now I'm going to do this. So I have a formalized introduction that Etta hasn't heard, and I'm going to see if I can pull this off. Ladies and gentlemen, seekers and wanderers, welcome to the Quantum Quaff, where consciousness meets cocktails and wisdom flows freely. Today, we gather at the threshold of a moment in human history. And as we stand now at the dawn of the Aquarian Age, ancient secrets long hidden are ready to be revealed. And we have with us someone who has walked the path of initiation, who has dared to remember what humanity has forgotten. For a number of years, our guest journeyed across the world on a walkabout, from following the threads of ancient wisdom. She studied the masters, decoded sacred symbols, and received a directive that would take 25 years to fulfill, and it's celebrating its 50th anniversary as a directive from the light. To write a book that would help humanity understand the most fundamental truth, that we are not victims of circumstance, but sovereign creators who choose this adventure into matter. Etta D. Jackson is not here as a guru or a savior. She would be the first to reject such titles.
Mhm.
She comes as a fellow traveler, a way shower who has synthesized the wisdom of the Kabbalah, tarot, masonry, and the stars into a comprehensive map for our collective awakening. Her book, Understanding Your Choice, challenges us to put away childish thinking about good versus evil and to restore the divine feminine into her rightful place and remember our own individual and collective divinity. She reminds us that Jesus himself was not a savior, but a brother, and that his achievement of full consciousness is our birthright as well. So raise your quantum cocktails, dear friends, as we welcome someone who dares to tell humanity, you are not broken, you are not cursed, you are divine because beings who chose to forget so that you could remember with expanded consciousness. And please welcome, for the first Meet the Author in the Quantum Quaff, to our stage, author, initiate, and keeper of the ancient mysteries, my friend and mentor, Etta D. Jackson.
Oh my Lord. Oh my God, Stacy, that was profound. Oh, thank
Now,
you
I
so
will have to admit that there was AI involved in helping me write that, but I had a hand in it too.
much. Okay, that was spot on.
So if everyone can go ahead, we'll mute our mics, but we can put things in the chat. And I would like Etta to first tell us about the book, then tell us about what happened, the story, and then
Mhm.
about like kind of an overview of the book, and then wherever you'd like to take it from there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Stacy. That was just fantastic. And okay, so I'll tell, and so of course that was very helpful. And then in the bedroom where I was staying was a computer all set up for me. On the bookshelf, how to write a book, and in my room, a computer. So, of course, I stopped arguing. I understood that this is it, and began writing it. So I wrote the first chapter in New York, and toward the end of writing the first chapter, the light said that the book, first of all, I was told that the book needed to be written in a more academic format with references, bibliography, glossary, and all of that. And and so the light said the remainder of the book has to be written in London, because there are all these esoteric libraries in London that I could access. So I called up my friend, and this is Rosemary's cousin, actually, who lives in London. The both of us had gone to high school in Jamaica together, and she left to England in 1964, and I came to the United States in 1965. But we had stayed in touch with each other, because we came from the same village and we went to the same high school. So I called her up and I said, I have to write this book, and could I come hang out at your house so that I can write it? And she said, come on, so I went to London and began writing this book. And there are all these, like the light said, there are all these esoteric libraries in London that allowed me to be able to get the material. But the 25 years, I'm going to back up and say the 25 years, what I understood and what became clear to me, that the 25 years was preparation for my own spiritual journey. Because the book was not channeled. A lot of people believe that it's, channeled information. No, it's not channeled. It's Etta who wrote it. And why I had to have those 25 years of spiritual growth and evolution in order to substantiate the information that I was writing about. And so it kind of began to make sense. And I would go to these libraries, and the light would say, that book, that book, that book, that book. And I would be getting these books off the shelf. And I'd go back home, and I'd be sitting in my friend's name. Her name is Audrey, but her pet name is Joy. And there I was in Joy's living room, just writing and writing and writing. And Joy was a math teacher in the London school system, and she would come home in the evening and she said, Etta, are you still writing? And I said, yep. And there I was every day, and it was such an intense experience. And in the writing of this book, this tube of not golden white light, but golden light. It was an intense golden tube of light that I was operating in. And it made sure that every paragraph, every sentence was rightly placed. It was like this energy was making sure that every word, every sentence, every paragraph was rightly placed. And what was communicated to me is like there was a vibrational frequency that was being created by the meticulous way in which each chapter, each paragraph had to be placed to make sure that the right vibrational frequency is emitted from the work. Because the light said to me also that even if you don't understand the information, because of the frequency of the book, there's something that will happen on a cellular level to help with your transmutation. And so, wow, I thought that was just so profound, but it was such an interesting experience writing it. And so I did my, satisfied my mandate, which was to write it. I stayed there and I and I wrote this book. And I was thinking back that it actually took 9 months. And I know in the Indian tradition, they say you give birth in 9 months and 10 moons. And I was looking back on from the time when I began writing it to when I finished it. And I remember it was the 7th of June, 2001. And I remember writing a friend that lived in Cornwall, and I said, I need to come. She and her husband has a 130-acre farm. I said, Sheila, I need to come down to Cornwall and go out into the fields and scream. And I remember the morning of June the 7th, I got on the train from London to Cornwall, and I got there in the evening and went out in the fields, and just it's like this energy that had given birth to this book. And so that was how Understanding Your Choice came to be. And at the end of writing it, the light said to me, first of all, that the book is going to be made into a movie, and also said to me that you have 2 other books to write. And the titles were given to me: Unveiling the Secrets of the Feminine Principle and The Role of Consciousness in Governance. And I guess the light decided to wait until I finished writing this so I wouldn't argue for 25 more years. And so this is how the other 2 books came to be written. And so one of the other things that I thought was just fantastic and interesting to me. So in this whole experience with the light, I mean, I have just come to learn and understand so much of the divine and how it works through us. The light said to me, the book needs a preface, but the only person in the world that can write this preface is Dr. Eugene Withworth. And I thought, what? Dr. Eugene Withworth? I don't know this man, but yes, I knew of him. Because before leaving New York, I used to teach in Brooklyn. I used to teach in the New York City school system. And I had a very good friend who said to me one day, Etta, let's go to the Lincoln Center. And for those who don't know New York, Lincoln Center it's a cultural center where you have all these different speakers, singers, Antonia, help me with this. Yeah, but this is where a lot of musicians and operas and all of that take place in Lincoln Center in New York.
Yes, it's a community. It's almost like a pavilion.
Yes. And a lot of very high-profile people come there and do wonderful things. So there is this gentleman from Connecticut named Dr. Eric Butterworth, who used to come to the Lincoln Center at Avery Fisher Hall, which is one of the halls at the Lincoln Center, to speak on New Age stuff. So she asked me, Etta, do you want to go to hear Eric Butterworth at the Lincoln Center? And I said, it's on Sunday mornings. He would come down from Connecticut on Sunday mornings. So I said, okay. So I meet her at Lincoln Center at Avery Fisher Hall to hear Eric Butterworth. But outside the hall, Avery Fisher Hall, his team had this cart with these New Age books. And on the cart was this book titled The 9 Faces of Christ. And the subtitle was A Quest for Initiation. And the author was Dr. Eugene Withworth. I bought the book, took it home, read it from cover to cover. Little did I know that I had, and I'm getting chills as I'm saying this, little did I know that I had a relationship with this man that I would find out later. So when the light said, Dr. Eugene Whitworth has to write this preface, and he's the only person in the world. And I thought that was a little I said, in the world? And I came to find out, yes, in the world. Because I finished writing the book. And of course, I don't know this man, and I wasn't going to just write him and say, I wrote this book. Could you, write the preface? But Spirit always has things planned and set up. So I come back to the United States. Sorry. And I am in Southern California at a friend of mine who we had gone to Thailand in 1993. And a friend of hers came over, and that friend brought another friend. And so I was introduced to the friends, and the friend said, I am here at a workshop in Laguna Beach given by Dr. Whitworth. I said, Dr. Whitworth? She says, yes. He's giving a workshop in Laguna Beach, which is about 10 miles from where I was. And I thought, this is interesting. So I said to her, I said, well, I wrote this book, and I would love if Dr. Whitworth would write the preface to it. Now, I was expecting the lady to say, lady, why would Dr. Whitworth write a preface for you and he doesn't know you? But she didn't say that, which I thought was odd. She says, well, when I go back to Chicago, because that's where she was from, and of course, Dr. Whitworth is from San Francisco. When I go back to Chicago, she says, I'll write Dr. Whitworth and I will tell him that I met you, and I'd ask him if he would write this book, write this preface. And I thought that she would just forget about me. But she went back to Chicago, wrote Dr. Whitworth, told him that she met me, and what my request was for him to write the preface to the book. He wrote her back and say, tell her I want to see a synopsis of all the chapters of the book, and I want to know everything about her. So I did that. I sent a synopsis of the 7 chapters, and I sent my CV. He read it, and he said, tell her I want to read the whole manuscript. I sent him the manuscript, and I said, tell him that in 2 weeks I will call him to find out if he would in fact write the preface. In 2 weeks, I called him, and I said, Dr. Whitworth, this is Etta Jackson. And before I could say anything, he said, kid, because by this time I found out he was 91 years old. So, of course, to him, I am a kid. Kid, what a contribution you're about to make to humanity. And I said, Dr. Whitworth, coming from you, that's a real compliment. And he said, and I don't give them out lightly either. And he said, when are you coming back to the United States? I said, I don't know. But he said, when you come back, I want you to come and see me so I could buy you a puffy burger. So I said, what is a puffy burger? And he says, when you come, you will see. But he had not agreed to write the preface. And I wasn't going to push him to do it. But the universe had this all set up because I had an aunt who lived in San Francisco. And interestingly, they were about the same age. And I got a call from my sister in Jamaica saying that Aunt V is not doing well and would like for you to go visit her. And you could see this divine setup. So Dr. Whitworth had not said yes to the preface, but I'm going to go to San Francisco to see my aunt, to see how she's doing. And I felt that I would write Dr. Whitworth and say, I'm coming to San Francisco and it would be nice to meet you. So I did. I wrote him and I said, Dr. Whitworth, I have an aunt and I'm coming to see her and it would be just nice to meet you. So he says, yes, and it would be great to see you too. So we set it up, the meeting. I go to his office. He had this big office down in downtown San Francisco. I walk into his office, this big, beautiful office, and this big desk. And before I could sit down, he hands me a sheet of paper and he said, here is the preface to your book. And he said, sit down. I have a story to tell you. And I'm wondering in my mind, what story could he possibly be telling me? I just met this man. He doesn't know me. I sat down and he began to tell me this story. He said, many, 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 many years ago. And as he was saying the many, 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 I heard 46 years in my inner ear. He said, the boys upstairs, this is what he calls them, the boys upstairs told me that there's a book to be written that contains 7 chapters. And they told me what the content of the book would be. And they also told me that I could not write the book, but that someone would come along who would write this book. He says, when I read your manuscript, I knew this was the book. I almost fell off the chair. Can you imagine? And as I count, like this was 2004, and if the 46 years is correct, I was only 12 years old and in Jamaica when he got this information from the boys upstairs, as he calls them. And so it was just such a profound, Antonia, information to be receiving, that I and this man had this relationship with each other for 46 years. I was only 12 years old. He was 58. Here he was, 91, 92. And Spirit had set this up, that I would write this book. And I got to realize that one of the reasons why maybe the lady didn't ask me, lady, why would he write this preface for you? Is because I got to realize that because the boys upstairs had told him about this book that is to be written, he had been looking for this book. So anybody who he knew that was writing a book that was spiritual, he would ask to see it so that he could confirm that this was the book that he was told by his guys that was to be written. And so I was just, and he said to me, he said, again, like I've said many times, not yet. This was 2004. He says the book is going to go all over the world, but not yet. And again, that story just, confirms to me how everything is already known and that we are more interconnected than we think we are. Because here is this white man, he's about 6 foot something tall, and this little short Black lady from Jamaica, he's from the United States, and, from Kansas, I think Arkansas is where he was born. Talk about the pairs of opposites, so to see how the universe, there's no separation among us based on any kind of elements of race, class, money, whatever. And so this was just a fantastic experience. And this is how the books, the books came to be written. I've finished the first one and the second and the third. And so these 3 volumes, what the Elites said to me is that there's this vast body of arcane ancient knowledge that I needed to put together and present them in these 3 volumes in a accessible enough form, because I think many people still find them to be difficult. But I think I have answered my remit, which is to take this vast body of arcane knowledge and present them in these 3 forms. One of the reasons why I kind of wanted, I and Stacy were talking a week ago about having a group where we could talk about this kind of information, because I was saying to her that I go online and I see people talking about astrologers and mediums talking about what's happening next and what's going to happen next. And there's a lot of fear around what's going on. The light told me when I finished writing Understanding Your Choice, it told me that at the end of the Piscean age and the beginning of the Aquarian age, that the changes that would take place on the planet would be so great, and that people would be in a lot of fear and confusion and trepidation about what was going to happen, and that the books were meant to bring context to what was taking place. That even though we see online, oh my God, this is going to happen and this is going to happen, this is new and this is new, this is never, yes, but the ancients knew about this a long, long time ago, and it's not new. And so if you understand that this was known, this is what was to be expected at this time in our evolution, that we would understand better and we would allay the fear that we would have. The light also told me when I began writing the book that the book should be couched in the story of the prodigal son. And for those of you who might have a religious background, this is more of an esoteric rendition of the prodigal son. And the light wanted me to communicate that we weren't thrown out of heaven, like, we were told, by our different religions, especially in Christianity, because we sinned and we were thrown out of heaven and this is the fall. And no. And why the light wanted me to couch the writing of the book in the story of the prodigal son, if we remember, the prodigal son came from a place of high estate. It was like a palace. He had everything he needed. He was safe, protected. And one day, and he had all the means, so one day, because he had come to a place within himself where he felt that this protected environment could not expand him like he knew in his soul he needed to know more. And so he went to his father, and this is all symbolic, of course. He went to his father and said, I want to go into distant lands, into foreign lands, to go meet my brothers and sisters out there, because it's only in so doing that I will come to know myself better. So he said to the father, I want you to give me that portion of goods, meaning money, that belong to me so that I can go. And according to the story, he was Jewish in orientation, and he went out, he left home and he went into the far country, and did everything, like broke all the rules. And, spend all this money, if you know the Jews, they don't eat pork, they eat pig's food and, meat, and he did everything. And the light wanted me to say, just like the prodigal son, we came here to have experiences, and there was no judgment. There's no condemnation. There's no hell that you're going to burn in, and none of that stuff that their church, religion teaches. Because the father knew that in order for this young man, and he was the youngest of the two brothers, there are two brothers, one stayed home and the younger one left and went into the far country, which is also symbolic of the United States and Great Britain. They're two brothers, esoterically. And just like the United States went into the far country, broke off from the UK, and, came and had this, and Lord, we have been in the far country having a lot of experiences, and this is one of them. But America was to be the country that would help to show humanity, teach humanity, and be the light to humanity. And so coming back to when even I met Stacy, this whole, I can't say Trump was elected. I can't bring myself to say he was elected. The person that is in the White House was put there for a purpose. It's all part of this grand story, because we're now like the prodigal son returning home. We're at the end of the Piscean age, and we're, as the ancient wisdom teaching describes it, we're on the path of return. Because as you know, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So we're turning around, because we're now in the age of Aquarius, and Aquarius is the sign that precedes Pisces. So we're literally turning around, just like the prodigal son went out into the far country, and then he began his way back home. And this is where we are. And as the scriptures, the story of the prodigal son explain, as he had ended his sojourn in the far country, it talks about him coming to himself. And coming to oneself is sitting with yourself. He had left home, he had gone into this far country, and he had done everything. He had had all of these experiences. And the ancients say that in order for you to become enlightened, you must have space for self-reflection and self-assessment. So here was the prodigal son on his return journey, sitting with himself, making meaning out of the experiences of his journey into the far country. What did I learn? What do I know? What do I know now? I was home in a safe place. I was out in an unsafe place, doing everything other than what I knew to do when I was home. Now I have contrast, because that's how wisdom is determined. You have to have a contrast, light and dark, safety, not so safe, high, low, above, below, without, within, dark and light. This is the experiment, and this is what the light said to me, that humanity chose, and so the title of the book, Understanding Your Choice, that we chose to come here. We chose to forget, to immerse ourselves in matter, in the density of matter, to experience what it looks like and feels like when you forget that I and you are one, that you are my brother, you're my sister. When I forget that we are one and I see you as separate because we look different or we speak different or we worship different, we live in different, experience different cultures, the illusion of that separation is what we now must sit with and ask ourselves, what is the truth about this whole experience that we've had in this long journey into the far country? And so this is where we are. We're at this juncture, this point, this turning around point in the history of our life, of our experience or evolution. And so when I listen, as I said before, to the conversations that I hear online and I listen to and read, I see a lot of people being so afraid that, we're at this point and it is so painful and they cannot imagine what comes on the other side of this. And what I wanted to do was to bring together a group where we can have real conversation about this stuff, because it's not what it appears to be. And that's one of this, I love about the ancient wisdom teachings. It says, nothing is ever what it appears to be. And I keep that front and center all the time. Nothing is ever what it appears to be. And what we're being challenged to do is to, instead of look at things, is to look into things. Penetrate the veil of appearances of what that thing looks like and sit with your soul and say, what is this really about? Because then and only then will you get the true meaning and the true understanding. Remember that the age of Aquarius is the age of symbolisms. So the age of Pisces, the age where humanity, a lot of souls were born to the planet, and souls were prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, and mentally to build the capacity to be able to understand this kind of information. So at the end of, during the Piscean age, we had academic educational institutions, we had psychological systems development to help us to make sense out of our emotions, to be able to think rationally and objectively. Pisces is a water sign, and so we had this emotional experience over the last 2,160 years, which is the number of years of an age. We're also at the end of the cosmic year of Pisces, 26,000 year cycle. And so we're now at this so you can imagine we have two cycles intersecting, the age of Pisces and the cosmic year of Pisces. So we're moving into something that is completely different that we've never experienced before. And no, we're not dying, and no, we're not going to hell, none of that. We are having an experience, and we need to sit with what we have come to know through our many sojourns on this planet and begin to make sense out of it. And again, I wanted to create this community where, if people want to talk, like Stacy says, I am nobody's guru, because the whole idea of the works that I have done is to lead you to your soul. That's your teacher, not anybody. There's no, the end, Piscean age was about teachers and gurus. That is over. Because again, the Piscean age was to prepare you physically, emotionally, and mentally to be able to access information yourself, so that you don't have to go. The relationship must now be vertical instead of horizontal, where you look outward for a teacher or a guru. The relationship must now be between you and your soul. And what I hope these books do is to help guide you to the feet of your own soul. So you begin to ask those questions and create the space so that you can get the answers. Because when you're too busy, and we were talking earlier about AI, and that's why, AI is part of the Uranian, delivery to our system, to help us to have help in how we do what we do, so that we can have more time for self-reflection and self-assessment. And it's not going to, prevent you from having a good job. You'll have better jobs. It's just going to be different. But this is also part of the fear that humanity has, because now we're, being introduced to this technology that seems so frightening, but there's no need to fear. It's all under control, and we're good. And so I talked a lot, and would just love to, but this is the story. This is the backstory. Just a little bit about unveiling the secrets of the feminine principle. The age of Aquarius is about technology, as I just said, brought in by Uranus, unveiling, revelation. So all of the things that you see coming out in the news and stuff, it's because this is the age of Aquarius. All of it is coming out. Everything that was underneath is now coming up to the surface. Because in order for us, the ancients also say you can't change what you can't see. So the first thing is to bring everything up to the surface, so that the illusions that we've had that has kept us in bondage for all these years, these centuries, must now be dissolved, so that we can step into our power. And so all of what you see happening, Aquarius, as I said again, is about revelation, is about the feminine. Isis is unveiled. In the tarot, she is symbolized by the star, which is completely naked. She is the opposite of the high priestess that is completely veiled, holding the scroll in her hand with all of this ancient occult knowledge. And now Aquarius is the age when you take off the veils, you're completely naked, everything is revealed. The secrets in the scroll, which is the occult mysteries, are now going to be revealed. It's about brotherhood. It's about oneness. The separation ends. So we're up for a wonderful future. But in order for that to happen, I often say that we're in that washover period between the end of Pisces and the beginning of the Aquarian age. And so it's turbulent, and it's understandable. And why I wanted to help you understand that the turbulence that you're feeling is understandable because of where we are and what is happening. And it's not because this is the end of the world and, and Trump is going to take over no. All of what you're seeing paraded in the White House, all of these billionaires and stuff, this is all part of the illusion of the age of that we're coming out of. They're showing who they are. And I was laying in bed this morning and saying, why don't we have a big gathering of all the spiritually wealthy people on the planet? we've been told that wealth, true wealth, is matter. This is what is being paraded in front of us. And it's because this is the dying, last gasp of the Piscean age and matter and the illusion of matter at the and this elevation of matter over spirit. But we're moving into a new age, and we are the instruments through which that is going to become a reality on the planet. So we're in a good time. This is fantastic, and I just wanted to know, you to know that. And if we want to get together from time to time to have these kinds of discussions, I'm available.
Etta,
Yeah.
so many mic drops. I put some of them in the chat even. My last one was asking if Aquarius was a stripper.
That too.
Apparently, Isis, Aquarian age, and Isis, the star, and stripping off the veil. And
Yes.
I just pictured Isis, the Empress, as like this as a stripper. It was
Yes.
surreal. But I so appreciate. I'm gonna make sure that everybody has microphones now.
And this is what she looks like, completely naked, unveiled.
Make sure everybody has the possibility of turning their microphones on now. And one of the things I wanted to kind of announce this morning is I am actually creating a space that is connected to this space called the Quantum Quest, because alliteration. But that being about a space to talk about books like this, and that more information will be coming shortly on that. It will be a members only space. It will be a members only space with a small fee to maintain the upkeep of the space. And I wanted to use this as kind of an introductory, maybe kind of version, maybe a longer sense, because I really wanted and loved the depth of there was more to the story, and I knew that, but hearing that this morning there were a couple places where my jaw was just not you're meeting the gentleman who did the preface, but
yes,
when you came to the part just now about how we're going from the Piscean age, that AI is not a bad thing because it's a tool that is helping us do more, so that with the
less time,
academic knowledge, so that we can actually spend more time on self-care and human relationships. And when you said that, my jaw about hit the floor, because I was given that message.
Wow.
That specific message. And the connection with Lee just made it. When she and I were sitting at breakfast one morning, basically when the Squirrel Wrangler was born.
Okay.
Because she told me, she said, Stacy, you need to learn how to focus. You don't learn how to focus, you will never be successful.
Yeah.
That seems to be a disconnected lesson, but now I know it's not, because in that journey to learn my own focus, what I learned was how to use the tools to get more done, so that I could spend more time with self-care, spirituality, and I also found out that part of my life purpose was to help others do the same, especially using technology to increase their productivity, so that they could have more time to do what we're doing right now.
Absolutely.
So I'm sitting here a little bit in a state of shock.
Yep.
And also appreciation. So with that, I'm opening the floor, and I know you guys know Etta, but bring it on, people. Bring it on.
Thank you, Stacy.
What questions or comments or ahas did you guys have as Etta was telling us the story? Or those of you who knew the story before, did you hear anything new?
Hi, this is Antonia. What
Hi,
I
Antonia.
Hi everyone. What I found to be profound and most interesting is that I said to myself, I said, I wonder if Spirit was speaking to him on the other end to prepare for someone to tell him about a book, right? If Spirit was speaking to Dr. Jackson, I was like, I wonder if because Spirit is moving infinitely. So it was really interesting to find out that yes, he was waiting years and years ago, and then Dr. Etta said, when he said years and years, she said 46. You know, dropped in her spirit. So I was kind of looking for that silver lining while she was speaking. So when she did say that, I was like, okay, so this is that is um it's in not encouraging, but it's I don't know. It was just it
It
lets you
was
know that you can be confirmation.
confirmation.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
It was
Yes.
confirmation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what, Antonia, thank you for that. Because when I wrote the book, you can imagine, I was kind of scared to publish it, to be honest. Because it's like, oh my God, all of this stuff, how are people going to relate to this and stuff? And Antonia, in meeting and talking with him, it's almost like Spirit says, I need for you to meet this man who is an established, he's older, and him writing the preface, sort of giving validation to everything that I wrote. I think that I needed that on a human level.
Mm.
And I remember when I was walking out the door, he whispered to me, I am a 32nd degree Mason. I know. And I thought, wow, this is interesting. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Antonio, to what you're just saying, I think that all of that, this was also part of Spirit saying, I needed somebody like him because he was a very renowned journalist, a
Mm-hmm.
graduate of Stanford and the University of Chicago. And I think that having him write the preface was like a validation of my work.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for that. Yeah, I have thought about that over time. And I think that that was all how how Spirit set it up. That, I would have this man, and I am Black because here I am, writing this information and putting it out there. But having him as a white male also, and a
Mm-hmm.
Mason, you know, validating this and confirming that this information is valid. I think all of that played into it. Yes, I agree with you totally, Antonia.
I wonder how many people, how many Masons have found your work because of his name and him being a Mason,
Yeah.
legend connection, and it's also it's cool that it's the opposites themselves
Hmm.
presenting the things so that it overarches and that when you were talking about the words coming being placed very specifically.
Hmm.
I've thought about that as as because I'm listening to the book. And by the way, anybody who is watching this at any time, there will be a link to the book in whatever form you're watching this. But if you're in the room right now, there's a graphic on the wall, and you can actually get a copy of the book if you don't already have one.
Yeah.
And then for those in the room, also there's also that little tip jar up in the corner, and tips are not required, but they're definitely appreciated. There's a little tip jar up above me. If you click that, you can leave a tip for the bartender for the
Yeah.
for the of the
Yeah.
bar. But
Alert from mobile device updater.
but
Yeah.
the idea of the opposites coming together to present the thing and the vibration of the vibration
Mm-hmm.
because something led me to the only way I want that I didn't want to just read the book. I didn't want to read the words on paper. I
Yeah.
wanted to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times where and usually I'm driving when I'm listening. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
in that state of semi-trance.
Mm-hmm.
The Hawaiians call it hakalau. It's the
Mm-hmm.
state. And I'm taking the information in that state, but because of the vibration and frequency helping
Mm-hmm.
it to absorb the right way,
Mm-hmm.
I have no, even before you said that, I knew that I would be taking it in that state and that it
Yes.
would land where it needed to. But then when
Mm-hmm.
you said that, I'm like, oh, this is why this complex, dense, incredible information is just percolating
Mm-hmm.
and I know it even if I don't.
Yes.
Mind you, I do hit rewind here and there so that I can listen to something again.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool that because I don't know how many works in our world are actually built on that vibrational sequence. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
there are quite a few, but
Yes.
talk about that ever.
Yes. Yes. No, I thought that was just such an interesting thing for me to experience, and to know about. Yeah, like you just said, I never heard heard of that before, but wow, it was just such an interesting, intricate, like weaving. I always kind of feel like the book is an entity that was created because of how it was put together and constituted so precisely. Yeah. Wow.
Um, I'm almost enticed to give people a peek of what we created this morning, Etta.
Yes, we should, I think.
Okay.
Stacy did this morning from the PDF version of the book, and I just kind of took a quick look at it because we were getting ready to come on. It's like bizarre.
Yeah, and so this is what AI can do. And let me. So if you what we here in Go Brunch or here in Go Brunch we say scroll up to the sky, everybody, and so you should be able to scroll your screen up and you will see a spreadsheet. This spreadsheet was created by AI in about less than 5 minutes this morning when I asked it to look at the information from the book. Now you can see it really is, it's one sheet, but most of the time when spreadsheets are made, they break things down into very, very, very simplistic words. This is, but it isn't, because it does the connections of it broke down everything in the book and then the connection points that it gives. So it's giving us the layer, the concept, the symbol, the core teaching of that part of the book, the connection points of what it connects to, and then the practical application. Now, that's not this spreadsheet doing this. That is literally the presentation that Etta gave us of the things. And all I did was Etta gifted me a PDF copy that I could use, and I put it into AI and said, please do this, this, and this, and I seriously, it was a very simple prompt, and when I saw it this morning, I was like, oh my, this is
yes,
bigger than like the spreadsheet was even better than I anticipated it to have been.
Yeah.
And so I'm
gonna send this to you all.
Yeah, I quickly sent it to Etta and was like, look at what happened.
I know. I just was blown away. I couldn't really, but see, again, this is, what we now have available to us so that we can have more time for ourselves, for reflection and self-assessment. Yeah.
And I kind of see the spreadsheet itself as maybe a guide, a study guide to go back. And what I'd actually like to do with it is collaborate on building maybe a workbook that goes with
Mm-hmm.
the book, so
Oh,
that
wow.
people
Yes.
can really they can use that as even more of a guide.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes.
and so I have some ideas of that I'd like to that I do want to share with Etta eventually,
Yeah.
and see what we can
Yeah,
see what maybe there's some co-creation going on there, or um,
I'm sure.
because I
Yeah.
think AI is, for me, I am going to conceive the book differently just by using the spreadsheet now through
Yes.
my set. I'm gonna wait. I want to wait until I listen to the whole thing. Then I'm gonna go back and do the spreadsheet and listen. So,
Yes. Wow.
so
No, fascinating.
being here this morning for doing this. Those of you who've never been here before, or even if you have, there are events over that happen in here in this room and all across the Go Brunchiverse all the time. And there's some other events I'd love for you to see on the calendar. Some are mine, or some are other colleagues. Next Saturday,
Hello.
showing of a
You
movie
hungry?
called The Friendship
Yeah, I got a
Paradox
packet of something.
that I'd love for people to look at. It's my friend Jessica Dugas.
What would you suggest?
She has a wonderful uh,
Listen,
documentary that is about friendship that she created.
I'm just finishing up here.
1 year anniversary.
oh, yeah, are you still
And they're doing
alive?
a special.
There's a
There we go.
mute.
They're having a special screening of that movie next Saturday in the Folklore Theater, and I
Oh,
believe that Henry Cameron and Etta started a discussion the other day about maybe doing another author event over in the Folklore Theater, maybe a
okay.
meeting.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
If you subscribe to my calendar, when those come up, you'll see new events and you'll see different coming events. And I'd love for to invite everyone back for coffee on Thursday mornings. I know Etta knows what coffee's like.
Yes.
To
You
coffee,
just drop in.
coffee on Thursdays, tech open office hours on Tuesdays, Jessica's event on the 29th, and December 9th, there is an expo in Go Brunch where you can meet lots and lots and lots of people doing all sorts of things, business, personal, etc., in rooms like this. And actually, just above Miss Etta on the wall, there's a button that says Return to Expo. Don't click it now because it'll knock you out of the room. But click it later, and you can go over literally and see some of the other people's rooms and things. And you might even run into people because that expo hall is open in between one expo and then to the next.
Mm-hmm.
You can come in here 24/7, 365, and then you can click the Return to Expo button and go wherever it takes you 24/7, 365 to see other spaces, meet other people, and just come play with us in this universe, because it's, I think, a new way of being with others.
Yes.
And I love that discussions that with the depth like this happen in these spaces all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I pop into coffee on Thursday mornings when I have time. And it starts at 10 and you can come in anytime and leave anytime.
And you
But you
never
get to meet you never know who you'll meet, and what
never know what we're going to talk about.
talk about. Yes. Yeah.
What connections you might make.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been going for 6 years.
Wow.
6.5 years now. Every week. Now next week, being a holiday on Thursday, it's not that coffee won't happen, actually, because if people show up in here and do coffee, and I might be here, I don't think it's on the calendar next week, but being a holiday.
But it still be open.
This bar is open 24/7 if you want to come over and click into the little things. I'm going to leave Etta's book up over there. I might move it and put it somewhere else, but I'm going to leave it in the room because we've talked about it frequently in coffee. And I'll leave the link to it there. And when I get ready to actually launch the Quantum Quaff, just let me know. There'll be an announcement probably through the Luma calendar that it will be started.
One of the things I just want to say before we leave, contrary to what religion teaches, that you just have to believe on a savior and be goody-goody and you'll get to heaven.
Hmm.
What this body of knowledge is saying is occult knowledge. It's, it's not true. This is all part of the illusion that we've had. And there's a structure to growth. And one of the reasons why I feel the light wanted me to couch it in an academic format is the step-by-step growth process that you go through in an academic format. You don't just arrive up in 12th grade and say, I'm enlightened.
If it were only that easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and why, getting the understanding that, you got to go to first grade and second and third and build, and and also its relationship to masonry, because, because these are all symbolic terms. It's about building the building blocks. You put the blocks and you put one on the other to build the house that you're living in. Because what we're here to do is to really build the personality vehicle so our soul can live inside of that vehicle. But it has to be done rightly. Just like I was saying about how the book was carefully and meticulously, put together. This is how that's what masonry is, true masonry. And I just want to say this. A lot of what people know about masonry is not true masonry. What most people know is a social organization with the symbolisms of masonry. But the true masonry is not on this planet. And it's not a group of men getting together, paying a lot of money to belong to an organization. Masonry is something completely different. And why I was given this information to help you understand the truth about all of much of what you've heard about, but really not understanding the truth about what they are. So I wanted to put that out, is that there is structure, and this is what the Aquarian age will help you to move through in a very systematic way. You cannot do calculus if you don't know how to add 1 and 1 or how to multiply. There is no way.
Well, and maybe in a different way, even what we have previously known popularly as masonry was our academic introduction to the symbology, even if it's in a structured, couched in just one side of the polarity.
Yeah.
Such that then now we get to bridge over and learn the other side of that polarity and bring what is
Yes, them together. Yeah. Yeah, because the symbolisms in masonry are very profound and they're true. But the spirit of masonry is what is not.
We needed to learn the academic.
The spirit and the matter.
The matter side of it first.
Yes, the matter and the spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that part's fascinating. But it's also fascinating that a gentleman who was a 32nd degree Mason handed it to someone who is not according to that version of masonry.
Exactly.
Mason.
Yes.
And that there we go with the opposites again. So
and when there's a lodge here in New York, and I remember taking the book down there to, introduce it to them. And this one gentleman, he read it and he said to me, he says, how do you know this? And you're not a Mason? Because of course, being female, I would not be in a Masonic order to start with. And I said to him, how do you know that I'm not a Mason? And was in his mind, I couldn't possibly be. And this is part of breaking down the illusion of what true Masonry is. It's not relegated to gender or class or money or any of those things. The lodge, the true lodge, is not even on this planet. It's on Sirius. And anybody and everybody, because I am a Mason and I'm a 33 degree Mason, and why he couldn't write the book. I had to write the book.
Oh, Etta. Again, I'm gonna. I'll Potawatomi, Chimigwech, which thank you, friend. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Stacy.
Antonia, were you gonna say you had I didn't know if you were raising your hand in applause or.
I think I was gonna say something, but I forgot. But oh yes, this is what I wanted to ask So you have these different events on here. How do we find out? Do you have a mailing list we can join?
The events are actually, if you click it onto the link I put in the chat, or the laptop that's just under where Tracy's sitting, if you click it, it will open my event calendar. And that will, it's stacybraiuca.com/events is how you get to the events calendar. Can you see the chat?
Okay.
See the link,
in the
Antonia?
chat.
And are
I
you
do.
In the chat?
Okay, I'm in the chat. It says Stacy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You see the link?
That, it will open my Luma calendar, and you can subscribe to the calendar. So that anytime there are any events on it, you should get it, as well as when I send out a blast about an event. And I can only send 2 of those a month, so I don't send it about all the events.
Okay.
That's kind of, that gets you on the, and if you signed up for today, you're automatically on the list. But if you sign up for, say, Tuesday's tech hours, even if you don't show up, you'll still be on the list, if that makes sense. Because signing up for an event doesn't mean you have to show up.
So this is Tracy. On the Tuesday tech hours, what do you guys go over?
The Tuesday tech hours are new. And what my intention with that event is to have people bring technology questions or things that they're wanting to build, because one of my superpowers and my newest part of my business venture is helping people building what I call micro apps for people. And so an example of a micro app might be a way to interact with Etta's book in a different way that is that new technology.
Nice.
You should talk about that, Stacey.
Brought me the idea just now.
Like read the book together.
Well, and actually it'll be more a way for a person to interact with it and do their lessons. So I just realized the workbook is not going to be a traditional workbook. It's going to be an interactive workbook, Etta.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice.
I love it.
So like, have people bring ideas that they want to work on, or because in a way it's kind of an area to get to know me, but it also could be like Etta was talking this morning about just getting used to using AI, and it could be that we do a little mini lesson on using AI.
Wow.
And like, so one of the AI tools I use all the time is called Galaxy, and I just put it in the chat. And the reason I like it is not just Chat GPT, and it's not just an image or video generator, but it has all of the tools in one place.
Wow, love that.
And so I create, like, this room, the image for this room was created in one of the image generators there, but also the spreadsheet that I showed you, it was created in there using one of the AI text tools. So in the AI world, Chat is just one of the generative text tools. Some of the others are Perplexity and Claude by Anthropic, and Google has multiple tools. And then different companies have different visual tools like Midjourney and Banana by Google, and Leonardo, and so Galaxy brings all of them together into one place. So a friend of mine told me about it, and I've been using it for probably the better part of the year. So instead of paying for a $20 subscription to ChatGPT, I pay $15 a month for Galaxy, and it has all the things. So I get more tools.
Wow.
And that's what I'm going to get.
So bringing it back to the Tech Tuesday open office hours is, maybe you're trying to figure out how to use a tech tool to do something in your life. One of my superpowers is helping people do that. And so it's having people,
Wow.
It's a space for people to come in. It's kind of a drop-in space to come in, bring the thing you're doing. Somebody else may already be kind of on stage doing their thing, but you'll learn from them, and vice versa. where we just go through and kind of do what I call kind of tip of the iceberg, high level things. And people can kind of get to know who I am and how I teach things. So
And what time is that again, Stacy?
it's 3 Eastern. 3 Eastern.
Okay.
To,
on Tuesdays?
Yeah, it'll be every Tuesday. This last week I had to cancel because I was the energies in the world were really messing with me, and I had to drop.
Yeah.
I had to drop
a lot of astrological stuff.
I had to drop out Tuesday. This next Tuesday it's scheduled, but because of the holiday week, I'm not. I'm planning on being here. But then it should be every Tuesday, and it'll be right here in this same room. So, and then when the book club / Quantum Quaff starts, it will be in a private area, and it will be a membership site. It's not going to be super expensive, but it will be a membership site where we can truly have like book club meetings and have space that's dedicated to books that are related to what I call the quantum world. Which is that
quantum consciousness.
Quantum consciousness, where spirit and academe
meet. Yes. Because there's some books that I like to recommend too. Yeah.
Well, yours is this book is obviously one. One of the others I'd like to explore, just to kind of give some good context to the actual space, is going to be Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton, and then Mental Emotional Release by Dr. Matthew James. So those are the 3 books that I have on the shelf at the moment. For people.
There's a book by gentleman called Cyril Scott called Initiation. There are 3. It's a trilogy. Initiation in the dark world. But there are 3 of them. But Initiation, and there's another one by Elizabeth Heish called Initiation again. Okay. I didn't even realize that my books are all about initiation. It was after I finished writing all of them I realized,
this is what this is.
There's a theme there.
Tracy, thank you for the question.
Yes.
Is that Tuesday is going to be a new thing?
I'm going to be hopping in for sure.
I'm not a techie person, but so technology kind of frustrates me a little bit.
So this would be the right place to be, Tracy.
Exactly.
My specialty is the way I describe it is awake at 2 a.m. with anxiety. I solve that.
Yes.
I solve that. So, because I help people reprogram this here, and I help with programming or tech like this here.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow, this was fantastic. Thanks again, everybody, for coming. And thank you, Stacy, for doing this.
Inviting everyone, and I look forward to getting to know you all further at other events. Etta, you're welcome to pop by the bar anytime.
Oh yeah.
What I like about this platform actually is these spaces are generally, now some people lock their spaces, and some of my spaces are locked, but this particular place is open 24/7 for people to come by, and even if I'm not here.
Yeah, you can meet. It's a meeting place, so kind of. Yeah.
So maybe it's like the Lincoln Center, but virtual, huh?
Yeah.
Stacy, you mentioned 2 books, The Biology of Belief and what was the second book? I put them in the chat. Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton, who I found out recently I was born on his birthday.
Wow.
Kind of a cool spiritual connection. That link I put in the chat is my favorite lecture of his. It's where he describes the book.
Awesome.
It's a lecture he did in Germany, but the lecture's in English, and I really like it because it kind of brings together. It's a great introduction to the knowledge, to what he does. And the other is Mental Emotional Release by Dr. Matthew James.
Dr. James' dad, Dr. Tad James, created a process called timeline therapy. And then Dr. Matthew James took that and refined it further. And the rename is partly because I think because he needed to give it, there were some legal issues. He had to give it a different name, but it also is more descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you release the emotional things, baggage of your past. And I'm trained in that process. And that's one of the ways I work with people is in that process by Dr. James. And, the book itself is just a good book to kind of follow up understanding how our belief is connected to our biology, and then understanding how we can release those things of our past to be able to move forward. November 17th of 2022, I put my 30 plus year anxiety disorder into remission using that very process.
Oh, wow.
Now, mind you, I've been a therapist since 97. So I'm a clinical social worker, and I also personally suffered with generalized anxiety disorder. And through that process, so here I was treating other clients for anxiety with having it myself 24/7, 365. And ever since November 17th, 22, I've not had generalized anxiety disorder. I'm not going to say the word cured because that one scares me a little still, but I am very confident in saying it's in remission. I don't deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
And anybody who's ever had any kind of anxiety, GAD is not something to scoff at. It's stuff. It's like little asteroids hitting you all the time.
I know. Yes. Yeah.
So.
What a journey.
What a journey. Yes.
Yes.
So I hope everybody has amazing Saturdays. There's some other stuff on the calendar over there on my events calendar. There's other things happening today. I know Hermie has a Saturday afternoon matinee every week where they watch in a room similar to this, and they watch, and he usually picks some kind of, a lot of times it's an old movie, and they watch the movie together in a virtual theater, and then they discuss it. So that's every Saturday. So
that is adorable.
Yeah. Next Saturday is the one, that friendship paradox, but generally he usually picks a cinematic, because he's an actor by background. He usually picks something very cinematic and what have you, and sometimes even something that people wouldn't have seen before.
I didn't know that Hermie was an actor.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Actor, playwright, author. He does grief counseling. His son passed of cancer at a very young age. He was a teenager still, and he has a profound grief story.
Yeah, I heard it.
He does that work that way.
Wow. Oh, wow. Well, so to leave the room, you can tell people how to leave the room.
Yes, thank you. So leave the room. There's up at the top of a space where it says Quantum Quaff and Squirrel Saloon. There's a door to the right of it, and you literally just click that, and it'll take you out of the room. There's other things in here that if you click on, it'll take you out of the room to other places, like if you want to go to the expo hall. But if you end up in the expo hall and end up lost, there's a door at the top of those rooms where you can leave as well.
Isn't this a neat space, though? It's so different.
I love it.
And what I like is each room and spaces people create have their own personalities. And actually, this room is one of 10 or more in this space. Literally, you can click on the button that says all rooms, and there are more rooms in this building that I built.
Okay.
In this building, this virtual building.
Yeah, and then if you go over to the expo hall, there's other buildings around. So it's an entire universe that's interconnected.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And next time you come to a room, instead of just putting your name, look for the little bitty words underneath that space that says log in with email. And if you log in with email and someone sends you a friend request, which you can do by clicking on the person's name under their, circle, and then you can click on the little white person on the left side, and then you can click on send friend request. And if everyone is connected and they have sent friend requests, I'll actually do show and tell. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about because it makes more sense. When you've signed in with your email and so you're signed in and you friended people, you can go to the My View button and then go to online friends, and you will see something like this. All of these people are friends of mine. Here's Ollie. He was in here earlier. Now he's in a place called Villa Riviera. Here's Hermie. He's in Villa Riviera and he's in airport practice. So there's people that are they're in multiple rooms. And I could click on this and it would teleport me to the room they're in. So you can literally collect friends and then go to the rooms they're in, like Echo Calming Room. That sounds fun. There's just different places where you can see and then some of them are locked. So Dr. CK is in a room that's locked. Who knows where she's at. But I can click here and follow my friends around, and literally I do that all during the week. We have co-working hours where we co-work together. There's events all the time. Sometimes it's just finding your friends and hanging out. So, yeah, but you have to be signed in with your email address and then having friended people who are also signed in with their email. And if you ever want to learn how to do that, just come by on a Tuesday and we'll get everybody friended up.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Etta, for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. This is beautiful. I look forward to more.
And
yes.
Thank you for.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing the story in such a, it went deeper than I had ever heard the story. And I love the other pieces. So.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No. I reflect on many of these pieces from time to time and just wow. Myself.
It is stunning to see how the pieces fell where they did and how they were supposed to, especially on reflection, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
I love it.
To seeing you all again sometime. And Etta, I look forward to our debrief and discussion because I do have ideas on an interaction.
Yes, so you tell me when you're available.
Well, you know where to find me. You know where to find me.
So we definitely do because this has been very enlightening.
It's been fun.
Yes, yeah. So, okay, all the best, everyone, and we'll talk soon, Stacy and everybody else, because I talk to everybody in here. Yeah.
If we do
Tracy,
everybody bring a friend next time.
Yes, and Tracy's in California, so I know she had to wake up early to come.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Tracy. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
See everyone soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.